Yeah, because unfortunately I got it this morning, my hearing aids weren't working, so.
Do you want me to go get it?
No, I think this is because we Bluetooth is gonna.
Okay.
All right, guys, can we do another test? Make sure we can hear you guys okay?
Yeah, because unfortunately I got it this morning, my hearing aids weren't. I mean, I can hear, but I can't understand what they're saying.
Yeah, I can hear everybody fine, this Dan Rakes.
I can hear that, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this Mary Lou, I can hear fine.
Good. And June? June, are you there?
He's got his mute button on. Whoops.
We did a test earlier. Oh.
Good morning, June.
Somehow I think I cannot change the mute and unmute. I cannot actually cast audio to make sure that I can control the mute or unmute. Right now it has been unmuted.
You did that on the
Yes.
It's not allowing participant to unmute.
It's not allowing him to unmute.
You might, June, you might want to exit and come back in because Mary Lou and Dan are able to mute and unmute themselves. So it might just be, you need to reset those settings once you log back in.
I think I can do it right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order at 9:07. If you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Okay. That takes us to item number 4, which I would like to have moved down to item 18. I think that this is going to be a challenging topic, and I think that we should proceed through the rest of the agenda before addressing it. So I'll entertain a motion with that amendment. Okay, none being heard. Item 4.
Well, hold on. This is item 4, yes. So I would like to make the motion to promote the best interest of Colfax County, that we look for a change in the chairmanship. I would like to nominate myself as chairman, Commissioner Trujillo, and vice chair, Commissioner Kern.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Chairman Lee.
No.
Motion carried. We'll now move on to item 5, approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes that need to be made, County Manager?
We do number 9, we're gonna strike 9, which is the YES program. We're also going to strike number 11, discussion action, joint powers between Colfax County and the town of Springer. I had a discussion with the mayor last night, and there are some things in there that we need to get resolved before we bring that before the board. And the last would be 17, discuss quarterly department updates.
Can I entertain a motion to strike those from the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I'll second that. Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call vote?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Chairman Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Ware.
Yes. Right. Next item, number 6, approval of regular meeting minutes for April 11th, 2023. Commissioners, is there any changes that you'd like to see made? Anything brought up?
I have none. I move to approve.
Do I have a second? I'll second that. Madam Clerk, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Chairman Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Ware.
Yes.
Next on the item, number 7 is recognition of visitors. So if we could, can we please start here with Amadeo?
Amadeo Soto, IT, Colfax County.
Mark Manley, Angel Fire Resort. Peter Formanis, Terralogic Document Systems. Alfonso Ortiz, Chief Deputy Treasurer.
Lydia Garcia, County Treasurer.
And Mercy Trujillo, DWY program.
Mr. Pena.
Diane Dixon, citizen.
Or Rob, of the party Colfax County. Paul Lopez, Mayor, and then this year extension and the Colfax Soil and Water Conservation Chair.
Cardinals, Colfax County.
Thank you all for attending today. Next on the item 8, public comment. Do we have any public comment that's outside of an item listed on the agenda? And Treasurer?
Yes, I sent an email out to the commission and Monty, and I'm just checking up on what we're doing with that lawsuit with the county assessors. I've worked on, I've talked with Chris to give me those tax roll changes. So we've gone through on Alfonso, per chief. So I'm waiting on a check. I'd like to get it. If we can only do it until Thursday in order to get them credit for next month. If not, it'll have to hold off another month in May. So I'm just checking to see if we're able to get a check by Thursday. Or before Thursday.
I can answer that. Good. I believe the check has already been written and signed off on.
Okay, so I'll be getting it shortly then. Okay, good. Then I'll work on those today. So we can make sure and have the distribution go into effect, and then the entities will get their monies, including Colfax County. Okay.
Thank you for keeping on top of that. We
All
appreciate
right,
it.
thank you.
Any other public comments? Okay, moving on to our next item, maybe item 10, indigent care claims. Tabitha? Sure.
Sorry to come in here, but the check that Lydia is asking about, I have it all entered into the system. I just have to print the check out and get that to sign it and Lydia to sign it. And so it'll be done today.
Sorry.
Well, there she is.
Good morning, Commissioners. So the indigent care for April, I did choose to deny it. We did not meet the guidelines, which is number 24 on our rules and regulations. They did turn in their stuff and it was over the 90 days. So I did choose to deny it.
Commissioner, Weir, do you have any questions, discussions on it? Yeah.
No, my only question is, since there's not any to be given, is there a vote required?
It'd be to deny the claim, correct?
Yes, it'd be to deny it.
Commissioner Kern, any questions?
No, sir, I'm good. Thank you.
So I'll make the motion to decline the indigent care claim. Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Mr. Ware,
Yes.
Chairman Trujillo.
Yes. Next item under discussion and action is the joint powers agreement between Colfax County and the town of Springer. Sorry about that. Marked off the wrong one on the list. So it's going to be item 12, discussion / action item, lease agreement, professional services agreement between Colfax County and Golden Spread Rural Frontier Coalition. Mrs. Dixon.
Commissioners, Mr. Monty going at lightning speed this morning. Fernand is on his way over from Clayton to address this item. The owner of Golden Spread. And he's thinking, he left Clayton shortly after 8. He's thinking he'll be here at 9:30-ish. So I don't know how you want to handle that.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to table item 12 until later in the meeting when Mr. Garcia arrives.
I'll make that motion. Give me the motion. I'll second that. Vote on that.
Okay.
Yes. roll call vote.
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Commissioner,
Yes,
Chairman Trujillo.
Yes.
so we're gonna just wait until he gets here and we'll bring it back.
And he's bringing with him his assistant and his dispatcher. So
Very
questions are
exciting.
welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner. Ware. We're going to move on to item 13, discussion / action on professional services contract between the DWI program and Concha, Montano Concha Consulting.
Good morning. I'm just here to approve the contract between the county, I guess, or the DWI program and Concha Montano. She is an evaluator. I don't know if you read the contract that we sent over. So she's an evaluator and she's going to evaluate our program. So she'll evaluate 2 components of our program, being prevention and compliance.
Commissioner Weir, questions? Discussions? Commissioner Kern?
No questions. I move to approve.
Do I have a second? I'll second that motion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Mr. Ware,
Yes,
Chairman Trujillo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 14, discussion action item on property use and liability insurance between Colfax County, the Village of Angel Fire for the balloons over Angel Fire. Is there anyone here to talk on behalf of that, or is it just?
I'll move to approve the agreement.
Do I have a second? I'll second the motion. Clerk, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Mr. Ware,
yes,
Chairman Trujillo.
Yes. So moving on to item number 15, discussing / action on RFP 2023-01, air service operator for Colfax County Airport.
I was directed by Brett Ware to go out for RFP for an air service for the Angel Fire Airport. So I'm just asking for permission to go ahead and do that. And everybody should have received my final draft that June and his assistant looked over.
Is there any questions, from the commissioners? I had one quick question. Did you by chance find out the proper call sign for the or code for the airport?
I did. I called Scott and asked Scott, and he said that either one is okay to use. He said that the K is essentially like a numerical thing, but either one, if either one is used, it's the same exact thing. They both mean Angel Fire Airport.
Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion to accept.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve RFP 2023-01, air service operator for Colfax County Airport.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Kern,
yes.
Commissioner Ware,
Yes.
Chairman Trujillo.
Yes. So moving on to item number 16, it's the approval of ARPA funds, digitizing of county records. I believe we have a Peter, give us a presentation.
Good morning, commissioners.
One.
Computer with Terralogic Document Systems. Our company was formerly called Professional Document Systems. You might remember us as PDS. We were asked to provide some services for most of the county departments. Those services to include paper and film records digitization, the software that would handle the digital images, and hardware scanners so that the departments can maintain their records digitally going forward. A little bit about us. I think it's probably fair to say we're the premier provider of these types of services from New Mexico. We have done business with every county in the state except for one. And of all those counties, we've worked with all of the clerks, most of the assessors, most of the treasurers, public works, IT. So we're very well experienced. We've been doing this since 1995. Regarding the issue before you today, I'm sure the county manager and the clerk have already led their case. I was asked to represent TDS in this matter in case you have any questions in terms of what was asked to do, and the scope, and how we do what we do. But in summary, I believe the two opportunities you have before you is number one, this isn't really just about getting some records scanned. This is really a modernization of your county systems in terms of how the county delivers information services to your constituency. This will put me right on par with big counties like Santa Fe, Burley, and Dunn in terms of the modernization and computerization of how you deliver services and how the staff works. And two, the other big opportunity seems that this type of work usually is a one and done type thing. There's very little ongoing future costs for this or support. It's kind of a one and done, and you can do it now without spending any regular Colfax money. So at that point, I'm open for any questions you may have about the proposal or about how we do what we do.
Commissioners, is there any questions?
Yeah, I have a few questions. So it cost in this, what was the total of the cost of the three phases?
The total at this point, including taxes, was 1.756 million.
1.75 million. And that doesn't, that's just to scan the records, put them on a hard drive, and then also create microfiche. Is that correct?
Actually, the request was for, and again, I just want to make clear that we presented what we were asked to present. So it's, there are many options when it comes to doing this sort of thing. So yeah, basically it includes scanning all paper records. So this will include paper records and files, the big clerk books, the treasurers, tax rolls, all of that. So it all gets digitized, which basically, obviously, it's good for your data preservation. So now you have fire damage or water damage, everything is backed up. It's all on the cloud, it's on the network, so your data is safe for perpetuity. So getting it all scanned in, and then, but really the thing that makes the whole process sing is the software, which interestingly is actually one of the smaller line items. But the software that actually handles the images is what allows you to be able to create a public portal so that your citizens don't actually have to come to the county building if they want to get it. They can potentially find it online. If they have access to that sort of thing, if it's allowed. It also allows everyone in the county department to work much more efficiently because now you can search for records simply by typing and searching rather than having to go upstairs into the attic and pulling out big books and beefing through them.
Well, I guess my question comes in because in your proposal on item 4, I don't know what page number this is, but it's one of the first pages. It says format conducive for importation in a document management system for network access. And then it says import to be done by county DMS vendors. So are you not the DMS vendor?
Yes, so basically, well, that was to be, I understand that currently the clerk's department, as far as I know, is also or has been using the system then by a vendor called Colfax. So frequently when we start working with counties, elected officials may have selected different options for how they want to store their records. So in a lot of cases, we're coming in and dealing with a legacy system. And so that's what I mean by the document management system vendor. So in other words, if let's say your treasurer already had a system and they like it and they want to keep it, they can keep it, and then we can work with that vendor to get their stuff implemented or import that. If they instead wanted to say get on board with application extender, which is what we're proposing, which again, I think probably about half the counties in Mexico are using, all the biggies are using it. If they want to begin on one system so that every department is using the same thing, we would then be the importer of name on those. And I apologize, to get back to your previous question. Yeah, there was basically, we were requested to propose both for film backup and for microfiche backup. Whether both of those are required, that's up to the county. That's not a decision we make. That's something that you'll all decide.
So I guess, Madam Clerk, why would we, if this is digitized and it's available, once you digitize something and there's ways to do backups that, are pretty darn close to fail-proof,
Yes.
Why would we need film and microfiche when all the search is going to be done online, the storage is going to be done online? Why would we need these other items?
If, for example, if we have a fire, I'm sorry, if we have a fire or something that we don't have power, people still need to have their access to the internet, not power, have to have access for us to be able to make those documents. I'm fine to continue the way that I'm doing because I pay for my microfiche weekly out of the clerk's office. So if you guys don't want to have, if you don't want to, maybe we could just get like the 16mm film. And if we'd have to go through, we could find the film just to have a backup and store it somewhere else.
But so if we had a fire, then, if we had a fire, wouldn't people be able to access the online?
Well, I'm just talking about for us here in the office, we would be able to possibly. But we've discussed this with him yesterday about doing away with the fish. Microfiche, so that will save us quite a bit of money.
Yeah, so what would that save us if we did? Because to me, if we're gonna go electronic, we should go electronic. And like I said, there's many services in many ways that the data is gonna be accessible. And even if the building lost internet, I would assume you could access this over your cell phone, or you could go jump on a computer at the library and access this information.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
So I
that's-
don't understand why we need that, because if our concern is fire, well, all the microfiche in the film is gonna burn up in the fire too.
Not if it's moved up, not if we store it off on another site.
But we already have the electronic images stored offsite.
Well, usually what I would request is for the film, just to get the film back up, the rolls of film. We can do away with the microfiche, that's $364,000. In order for us just to have film for all the documents, it would be $116,000. So we would knock almost $400,000 off of this.
And that would be an ongoing cost because we need to continue to provide that film as we got new documents.
I will do it for my office. I don't know if everybody will just scan it, because I do have microfilm in my office, and I do spend, I'm gonna say maybe a couple $100 a month having all my documents microfilmed. But in turn, I do turn around and I do sell to title services as well, copies of the microfiche. But I will continue to make sure.
If I could add to that as well.
Sure.
At this point, still, according to New Mexico state law requirements from the SRCA, community or counties are not allowed to, at this point, get rid of their files if they don't have what they call an invisible version. Usually when counties do this conversion to digital, in addition to the original version, they get a microfilm backup. Texas, they're saying you don't have to do that, you don't even have to have it, you can just get rid of it. But for now, we have to. So I think the thinking with the fiche was that it's easier to use so that if the public did need a backup or internally there was a backup. But from my perspective, I don't think both are necessary. So I think having the film backup, that way you've got a record. So if something catastrophic happens, at least in the state's views at this point, I know it's going for the Supreme Court, they're trying to decide to, maybe eliminate that requirement. But at this point, still, it is a requirement that there is a high visible copy.
And if we have that film backup, what are the requirements as far as maintaining the paper?
Well, we have to go through a destruction order and hopefully they can sign off on it, the state archives, and then we would be able to destroy it. Personally, I would like to keep the old books in that rolling cabinet as well as the newspapers.
So if we went through this process of destroying these documents, based on the records, it being approved by I'm sorry, who did you say would have to approve?
State records and archives.
State records and archives, if we did that, how much space would that free up in the building would it free up substantial space?
Well, it would, because we have probably about 4 filing cabinets that turn just of probates. We've got a lot of probates in there, so we would get rid of a lot of those. And Peter, I was under the assumption that due to the fact that those are court records, we do have to have the film to keep those.
Yes, you
To
do.
get rid of those.
You have to have the film.
You have to have a film backup. You would
Right.
have to have film and fiche. You
Right.
just have to have one backup.
You wouldn't have to have the original documents, just a
No.
film backup.
Yeah.
And then film backup would be stored offsite.
Right now, I have some stored in Santa Fe that I do pay, I think like $50 a month for some film that we have stored offsite. And then we would more than likely, once we can destroy those probates, once we get the permission, we will destroy it ourselves. We'll shred it. That way, everything is taken care of. And that would be a cost on our end to the county.
So you'd shred them yourselves and you have the resources to do that?
We've got a pretty good size shredder, and it would take us a little while to get it done, but it would be a cost savings, because they charge, I believe, by the pound when they bring the big trucks in, and, it's like, if we've got some downtime, we'll get out there and we'll shred it.
I'm sure do you have even an estimate or a ballpark on how long that would take? Number of man hours or anything?
Well, we're here 10 hours a day, and it's like, you know, it just depends on the workload that we have. So we can jump on there and start shredding. I would say it would take longer than a month.
Month? Oh, that's not bad.
No, we've got that big shredder, and when we get rid of, have to destroy some of our election stuff, it takes a while. As, I don't know if you've seen all the bags on our side, but we do get in there and it's like, we'll say, okay, we're gonna shred for 3 or 4 hours, and then we get them shredded.
And so these proposals, these 3 proposals would bring together all of the documents throughout the county, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
In all departments, everything would be automated?
No, everything is my understanding. I think
Just-
in the county manager's office, it's only the HR documents. Is that correct?
It's primarily.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we automate all documents?
Can we automate all documents moving forward with those that are not required for us to keep like a certain amount of time?
So like some of your day-to-day letters and stuff that we put out, it's like retention might be a year and you don't have to keep those. You know, copies of the checks that they would have, it's like they don't have to keep those after, like, I'm gonna say 6 years.
But doesn't this system have a retention policy built into it? Your DMS, does it have a retention? So when you scan a document in, you can say what the life of that is, and then the system will generate reports that say these documents need to be deleted from your system.
Yes, that is a feature of the software. It can be enabled or not enabled depending on if the county wants to.
So wouldn't it make sense to scan all documents in electronically so that you could have a single system managing that retention policy?
Well, all mine are permanent, so, you know, that would kind of affect like the manager's office, the sheriff's department, and the detention center. I don't know how they're, I don't know much about the retention of the records. I do believe some of the prisoners you have to keep for several years, but like in our office, most of our stuff, if not all of it, is permanent record, property deeds. And
I agree with you, Commissioner, that, I mean, as far as my, IPRA requests and everything else, as far as scanning in a lot of the county manager's office documents, I think would be wise to move it forward because that saved a lot of time on IPRA requests. So maybe some of the savings from getting rid of the microfiche could be used towards scanning some of the other documents.
And Mr. Weir, also, we have discussed amongst ourselves the prices for the scanners, if they're like $8,500, we should be able to find money in our budgets to purchase our own scanners, so we wouldn't have to do it out of here. And we did ask Peter that, and he did come in on the high side, there will be some savings for us. You know, we just need to get the money, we need to get a fuel for it. Because I don't know if you watch the news all the time and whatnot, where they're looking at possibly taking back some of the unspent ARPA funds for the debt ceiling. So,
but I think that the unspent ARPA funds are going to be, if they're not spent by what's already in the final rule, which gives us until 2026.
I don't know. We've heard there's been a lot of I think Chairman Trujillo mentioned about at Lakewood.
Yeah, the National Association of Counties sent out an email. I'm not sure if you received it the prior week, and they were talking about reaching out to our senators and representatives on the federal level to ask them to keep ARPA funds where they're at, where they're not spent.
So you're saying that they're threatening to change the final rule to be able to take the money back sooner?
Correct. And uncovered funds is my understanding.
And what legislation is there to do that?
Be passing it. I could forward the email to the county manager and have them pass that along to you as far as the National Association of Counties email that I received. Do you have any other questions, Commissioner Ware?
So my only other question is, since we are in the midst of budget season, and we should have had our first budget meeting yesterday, but it got canceled. It just seems like to me, before we commit to spending $1.7 million, that we incorporate this decision into the budgeting process that we're getting ready to go through. I have concerns that even though this is an important project, that it is scalable. You know, we could choose to do pieces at a time. And I'm concerned that we're going to come across in the budgeting process other potential uses of these ARPA funds. And if we commit to them now before we go through the budget process, those funds won't be available to us to spend. So even though I'm in favor of this project, I think especially moving the microfiche out of it, I still have sticker shock on it, to be frank, but I guess it is what it is. You know, to me, I think that, and all we're talking about is, you know, here it is, it's almost May. Our preliminary budget, we're going to have to approve in approximately a month. I think we should, that we should include this in the decision-making process for the budget. And so I'd like to make a motion to.
Commissioner, can we hear from Commissioner Kern real quick?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Questions? Commissioner Kern?
I don't have any questions, Chairman Trujillo. You know, we've talked about this extensively for the last 6 weeks, if not longer. You know, I agree. I don't think we need to do the fish. I mean, the department heads have figured out a way to pay for the scanners. If we back that out, I don't know what that total figure is, but I'd be in favor of just going forward and encumbering, you know, let's say we encumber 1.5, not to exceed 1.5 at this time. So.
Commissioner Weir?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to postpone until to include this in the budgeting process that is imminent.
Is there a second? I would echo.
The motion died.
Motion. Yes, motion died due to lack of a second. I'll make the motion to encumber up to 1.5 million of the ARPA funds for digitization of county records. Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
Commissioner Weir?
No.
And Chairman Trujillo?
Yes. Motion carried. Moving on to our next item, I'd like to go back up to Golden Spread. Item number 12, lease or discussion / action item on lease agreement, professional service agreement between Colfax County and Golden Spread Rural Frontier Coalition. Oh, okay.
So we need a motion to remove it from the table.
I'll make.
Somebody can make a motion.
Okay, do I have a motion to remove this from the table?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion to remove from the table.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
Commissioner Weir?
Yes.
Chairman Trujillo?
Yes. So moving on to one table, item 12, discussion action item on lease agreement, professional service agreement between Colfax County and Golden Spread Rural Frontier Coalition.
morning. I'm sorry we're running a little late. It's a long ways between here and Clayton, and they told me the speed limit was 90, but it doesn't work that way. I want to introduce a couple of my people here that I brought with me. Executive Director Judy Copley here on the left, and our Transportation Dispatcher Coordinator Eva Lawrence. They're the ones that do all the work, and they do great work. So my part here, I'll ask you all, what is it that you all, if there's anything you need to know, there's a couple of things I'd like to throw out at you as far as you know, what we're going to be meeting up here for help with. So, and I'm okay with the contract. Golden Spread's okay with the contract. We have no problems signing. This has been the one thing that I want to put out there is, number one, we are going to need basically 3 people here. One of them is going to be a dispatcher, and then we need a couple of drivers. The dispatcher would be a salaried person, work 40 hours a week at $22,000 a year. The drivers would get $12.50 an hour. Along with that, all 3 will have to have a background check and pass drug tests. And I know it's all that stuff, a lot of that's legal in New Mexico, but we operate under a lot of federal guidelines, and it's still a federal mandate. We have to go through that. At some point, one of us will get with, or we can get with some of y'all or something. I know I heard at one time that maybe y'all can do some advertising. That's all well and good. That's great. But we probably will need some help in getting these people. So if anyone, you know, anyone that can help us, you know, find these people, that would be a big help. And of course, if they we'll get you some applications, forms, fill them out, and before they do anything, obviously we have to get background check on them and do drug testing. Unfortunately, we have had a little bit of a problem in Clayton. When we come up with the fact that, hey, you're going to have to do drug testing, had somebody come in and just walk out because they couldn't pass the drug test. But that is something that we have. Another issue that I heard about, and this has been over here 2 years ago, and it concerns, to get to that point, I'm talking about we're going to try to get, we will have 1 vehicle for sure here, but I know that's not going to be enough. We're going to need vehicles. And we, Golden Spread, with our contract with the state, we had to submit our budget to the state 2 years in advance. Obviously, with this program here, we don't have vehicles ordered. We've got some coming in, but they'll be 2 years down the road. Actually, be after in 24 when we get some new vehicles. And what I'm getting up to the point is what I had heard at one time that the NRA and Philmont were interested in helping us financially. If that's a possibility, and I don't know who to talk to them, there's somebody here that could talk to them. They know, I don't know anybody at either place. If they could come up with some money, then we could have some vehicles, we'd just buy them outright. And then we would have vehicles ready to go. Right now, We're a little short on vehicles, even for our work there in Clayton. One of them, a deer hit it going down the highway, so that put it, stopped it, and that's being repaired, and there's a couple others. We have vehicles that are basically on the road all the time. Time on a limited basis, we are coming up here and picking up some people here in Raton and taking them to Las Vegas or whatever. And so we're doing the work, but that you guys want us to do. It's just that it's very, very limited. And to really get it going, it's like, you guys are gonna provide us a place to store vehicles and an office. That's great. We're really, if we had vehicles, we could start tomorrow, but we don't have it. That's the big issue right now. And of course, the people that work here, I don't know what the labor situation is here in Raton. I know it's a little bigger than Clayton, but labor's labor. Like nobody wants to work in today's world anymore, but that's my opinion. But to really get going, we need, if possible, if there's somewhere that somebody could get some money to, and we would buy vehicles outright. What we do normally, because we put in a budget for 2 years in advance, we think we're going to need vehicles, we put it in for them. And then the state will help us pay for the vehicle. This situation here, if we could come up with some extra monies, we could just buy the vehicles outright, we'd be ready to go. And Golden Spread would own the vehicles. Golden Spread owns them through the state, but they've got mandates, they've got rules and regulations that gotta be so old and have so many miles and all this stuff before we can replace it. So it's two big issues, labor and vehicles. And if there's any extra money from some of these people, and like I said, this has been over a year ago, they indicated to me that they would be interested in helping financially. So if you all know anybody that you can talk to out there and tell them what we're doing. And obviously the purpose for that was because Philmont, they come into Raton, they need back and forth, and the same would have been right.
I think it'd probably be best, we could probably do an introduction to the individuals. But I'd ask that you be there to talk to them and see what kind of help, assistance you're looking for from them. So
I would be happy to talk to anybody. You guys can get things set up. If I'm open, I'd be ready to. I'll help in conversation with anyone. Yes, but that's the two big things that are stopping us from starting full blast tomorrow. Labor, the three initially, and I know from our past experience in Clayton, like I said, we've got 9 vehicles total and a bunch of drivers.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So,
Commissioner Weir, Commissioner Kern, did you guys have any questions over the lease agreement? Commissioner Kern?
No, I don't have any questions. I think this is a great thing. It's been needed in our community for quite a long time and been working on it off and on since 2019. So I make a motion to approve the agreement with Golden Spread.
I do, hold on, Commissioner Kern, I do have one item I'd like to strike from that agreement. That's line item 16. It talks about, apologize, one moment, let me pull it up. And this talks about putting the electric meters and everything else into the name of Golden Spread. So I think my understanding is part of the agreement is the rent and everything's gonna be provided by us. So the utilities are not gonna be separated, correct? Is that, county manager?
That's correct.
So. Can I entertain a motion striking line 16 of the agreement and moving forward with the lease agreement?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I have a question.
Yes.
What was that strike approved by legal counsel?
No, it was not. I could show you the item here I'm talking about.
June, do you have input into Commissioner Trujillo's request?
This is June, the commissioners, I just, right now I'm looking at the number 16, and I believe that there was a portion that, previously we put the language of the expense for the utilities to be paid, by the lessee. But I believe that it seems to be that, it kind of moot point because the location is, I believe, in county building. So therefore, I do not think we can separate them out. So I do not see any legal issue to strike down the number, paragraph number 16. But instead, they agreed to provide that in-kind services and then provide us with the report to make sure that there's no anti-donation issue. So I believe that the current lease agreement should be standing, sir.
So leave it as is, June?
Yeah, so we can strike, yes, sir, number 16. Yeah.
Answer your question there.
Yeah, so basically it's okay to strike 16. Okay, so where do we stand now?
We just looking for a second. Commissioner Kern made the motion.
Okay, I will second the motion to strike item 16 off of the lease agreement.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Commissioner Ware,
Yes.
Chairman Trujillo.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you.
And now don't we need a motion to, because that motion was just to strike, right? Do we, now we need a motion to approve the amended lease agreement.
Okay, yes. And I'll entertain a motion to accept.
And I'll make a motion to approve the lease agreement for professional services between Colfax County and Golden Spread Rural Frontier Coalition as amended.
Do I have a second? Thank you. It's been motion and second. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Commissioner Ware,
Yep.
Chairman Trujillo.
Yes. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Moving on to next item on our agenda is the Commissioner Docket. Commissioner Weir.
I have nothing on Commissioner Docket.
Commissioner Kern.
I don't have anything at this time, Chairman. I just would ask the county manager if we have any dates set for the budget hearings, so we can kind of plan ahead a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kern. I just want to give you a little update here on our end for me as a commissioner. This last few weeks, I did a tour of the Kearney schools of the city of Raton and also the Santa Fe Community College. So they're moving forward on trying to bring the film school and education here to Raton. It was very informative. It looks like they're going to be partnering together to get whoever attends this Raton film school will also be getting college credit, certifications from the Santa Fe Community College. Also attended the Raton Town Hall. I didn't expect to speak, but I did end up speaking. I gave just a brief update and encouraged the residents and constituents to attend our meetings and follow us online, reach out to any of our commissioners anytime. When again, go ahead and told them who the commissioners were, what areas they were in. I've been in talks with Teresa Ledger's office, trying to track down the Infrastructure and Jobs Act funding and kind of where that went, trying to get some funds for Colfax County. They directed me to the Mayor Martin Chavez from Albuquerque, the prior mayor, and he's been very helpful and resourceful with that. So he's a wealth of knowledge we hope to use. He's offered to help us out. One thing he did offer is EV chargers. So I asked the fellow commissioners to think on this and reach out to our county manager and kind of let him know what your thoughts are on that. So essentially, it's free EV chargers. The DFA would write the grant. They would provide the matching funds for the federal money, and they would provide us EV chargers for county areas. He also talked about, the airport, the Angel Fire Airport, broadband, other infrastructure needs too. So just to keep that in mind, and we'll update the fellow commissioners and everyone else as things progress. And I just asked the county manager if he knows of anyone still, if we heard anything about attending the New Mexico Aviation Summit in Reynosa in May, if there's anyone that's want to step forward to do that, to have Colfax County represented down there.
I will certainly check my schedule, sir, and see if that's something we can attend. And it would be something that would be very good for us, especially what we're doing.
Okay, well, thank you very much. That is all I have. So moving on to item number 19, manager's docket.
I just wanted to thank our IT director again and our maintenance director. They have been doing a lot of work in here to facilitate and enhance sounding and acoustics, and I think it's working very well. The additional screens you guys have put up have just been awesome. And we have, I think, some of the nicest looking sound absorbers that I've seen, and it definitely is impacting and like us over here better up here. So I just want to thank you and Fred for all the work that you've done on that. Madam Clerk, I just want to thank you. Manager's office has been very busy, and I know that digitizing of records and stuff is very important. It's been a priority in our CIP plan for a very long time, and you really took that responsibility on and roll it forward. I just want to thank you for your efforts. I would like to just also thank some of our fire departments and some of our first responders. I sent out an email last week, but we did have a fire. I ended up coming out of a restaurant, noticing a plume of smoke. And I guess that it's in the area of the golf course, and called that in. And we had the city of Raton Police and Fire respond. We had the Colfax County Sheriff's Office respond. We had Cimarron and first response and Philmont Fire Departments respond. And we just couldn't be prouder of those individuals. They attacked the fire and got it under control and contained very quickly and very efficiently. And once again, with the proximity to Raton, that would have been that could have been a very serious incident. So kudos to our first responders. They did an outstanding job, and couldn't be prouder of them. And with that, that's all I have.
Thank you, County Manager. Appreciate it. So do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded.
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
Commissioner Weir,
Yes.
Chairman Trudeau.
Yes. Adjourns the meeting. Thank you all for coming.